Hi, I'm
Hi,
so excited to
Wanda.
bring to you. My
Thank
name
you
is
so much.
Wanda, Black Women Travel. You see next to me is Miss Paula Simon. I'm so excited to have a conversation with her today. Paula is speaking, hello, at the third annual International Black Women Travel Jubilee that's taking place. It's hybrid this year, so we'll be in person in Tbilisi, Georgia, and we're also online, and Miss Paula recorded a session for online participants. Miss Paula, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Wanda. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my views, my opinions, and just let encourage others that things don't always look right, but take it from me. It always work out for your good. Remember, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
And I
Yes.
think that's a message that is extremely timely because at any point in the journey, it's going to feel messy. In the beginning, it's messy. In the middle, it's certainly messy.
Yes.
Even in advanced stages,
Yes.
it's messy. And the title of your talk is about getting through fear and doubt. And
Yes.
I just want you to speak to that a bit. It seems like the way that you've been able to navigate your own journey has been rooted firmly in faith. And so can
Yes.
you talk a little bit about that, about how all of us, no matter where we are in our journey of centering ourselves, centering
Yes.
travel, and creating an income for ourselves, how faith can help us get through it.
Okay. Let me give you a little backstory. I decided to leave my country, blah, 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 came to America. When I left everything that I was certain about. I had a great job. I had great prospects. I could have retired, blah, all these good stuff. But I moved away from my comfort zone because I know I had to. And they might have someone who's listening to us right now. You know you have to make that change, but it is hard, especially when you're leaving loved ones. I know where this is and where that is. But what you realize when you give up, that's supposed to be perfect, you end up gaining more. And one of the things I will advise everyone, don't ever think it will be perfect. Throw that out the window. Don't ever feel that you will be certain and confident. Throw that one further through the window. It will never be that way. But what will happen is that as you go through the journey and you face challenges and you overcome those challenges, the next one will come and be, it's a piece of cake. Because wonder what I could assure you, regardless of how it turned up in your life, fear have about four or three things. You fear about your safety, you fear about not being taken care of, you fear about money, you fear about, it's about three, four stuff. And it turns up or it show up in your life in different ways, right? You will think that, okay, if I go somewhere, I would never see somebody that I know. And we that spend a lot of time in the oven, we always look for, would we see someone looking like ourselves? We always like that because then we feel more comfortable. But if we look, and especially as a believer, because I am, my walk is rooted in my faith. And if I did not have that to hold on to, I could not be having this conversation with you. Right? I could not. Right? So whenever we feel that we have to make the change, but we're scared, remember that where you are, it's time for you to make that change. So the next thing that you might be asking God for, or you know you should experience, that next great experience is tied up to the next move. So it is funny sometimes we want something, but we stuck here.
Mm.
So you stuck in one part, but what you want is in somewhere else. So how you
And
getting
you're
it?
asking.
Yes. Yes, and sometimes your faith become, oh, he's not answering me. Why I'm seeing this is happening with Wanda? Why it's not happening with me? Why Wanda could hold seminar and have conference and all over the world? Why it's not happening with me? And I'm certain God might be giving us a side eye. But I told you that you were supposed to go here. I told you to leave that job. I told you to leave the profession. I told you to change zip code, but you refuse to, right? So you stop. And that is what's holding us back.
I
And
love
let
that. I love that in your session, you say that everything began for you when you got out of your comfort zone.
yes, yes. And here, oh, another spoiler alert. Okay, this might be very sad. When you move from one comfort level, take it from me, after a while, you start feeling antsy because you need to experience more. And
Mm-hmm.
it becomes here. It is easier for us to move when, say, for instance, our lives are not that settled. Or we have this whole all hell break loose. There's a major illness, there's a divorce, there's somebody died, you get a foreclosure. Then we're able to move because we wait till we reach that, we hit the wall.
Mm.
But you know when it's hard to move? Here you are, just get a promotion. You just bought the car that you always want. You got a home. You have a young baby. I just got married. Change now, then it is hard for us because we had work, we had envision, we had prayed, and we acquired certain stuff. Things that society say that means that you have arrived. How could you now ask me to leave that good job that so many people wanted and it paid me
Mm.
so much of money? And you asking me to leave this. So then we put those chains on ourselves because we get tied up with stuff
Wow.
and we're comfortable. And what's going to happen? And, and we don't move. We don't change. Not okay, let's say this. In our case, we're speaking about travel. We're
Mm-hmm.
speaking about, but for some, it might not initially start with a travel. It might start with a little change in preparation for the travel,
Mm.
right? And you might even have the feelings, oh, I really wish if I could be traveling, but I can't. But there's something else God is talking to you about changing in your life in preparation for the travel. But you're not changing that, right? So when we're in a comfort zone, it is hard. And take it from me, I've made changes. One good thing about it is that I didn't think a lot about the change. I just changed. And then when I look back, that was a crazy move, but I already changed,
Mm. And you
right?
give, what I love is that you give specific examples of
Yes,
what it looked like for you to walk in faith, how
yes,
things worked out for you,
yes,
and and what you were thinking and feeling in the moment as these
yes,
things were happening to you, and
yes,
you're like
yes,
just taking your experience in
yes,
the consequences of your decisions, because it was a series of decisions that you were making. And you talk about how everything stemmed from you making a decision. So the session is just so good. It's
yes.
just so good because
I'm
it
so
just,
happy that you like it.
yeah, others, the ladies are gonna go bananas over this because it's like a holistic view from the beginning all the way up till you're now of
Yes,
what it means to cut out all the rest of the noise,
yeah,
to really tune in to yourself and the messages
mhm,
that you're receiving and
yes,
following that, being obedient,
yes,
I suppose is
yes,
the language that you would use
yes,
for the thing that's been placed in your heart.
yeah. Here, one of the things is that, as I already said, you will never feel comfortable. You will never know for certain. Here, you will know today, all gone, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. Then about 3:02 a.m. in the morning, you woke up and suddenly you up in your bed. What the hell am I doing? You would never feel, you would never feel, I'm telling you, even up to now, you would never feel comfortable. But what it does is that as a believer, you know with every cell in your body that your father loves you. You know he's there for you. If you honestly believe that he's the head of your life, that means anything that is happening, he's he's in charge. Secondly, even if as human beings you might think, am I thinking the right thing? But what is very important, he knows your heart. He knows that you are willing and you're all excited about following his plan. So even when you deviate a bit, he brings you back in. It might be that flight that you plan in, that certain place you're planning to visit, and you buy the ticket because you think God tell you to do it. You know what he will do? Cancel the flight. And then the airline will say, no problem, Miss Duncan, I'm going to give you back all your money. And who knows, we might put a 10% bonus on your voucher. Whenever you're ready, you will get a 10% discount. Our Father works in these ways to let us know, okay, you weren't supposed to go to Singapore, Miss Bonda. But you know what? I know you were hoping to follow me. I know in your heart you think that this is what I want from you. So you know what? I'm going to shut the flight down and I'm going to give my daughter an extra hug by the 10%. Right? And this is what he does. So if we look at it this way, you know, I will always hear things because I travel solo. And to be honest, I love traveling solo because if I feel like changing my mind, I don't have to worry about anybody else. I could change my mind at a flash. The only thing is it's me, right? And I will hear things like, is it safe? What happens if you go there and you're to get sick and all of these other stuff? But let me share this. I was in America, living in Atlanta, living alone. When I had planned, I think was in 2018, I had planned like a 4 months I would have traveled around Europe, right? Getting the house all ready, packing the bags, making sure the house is clean before. And the night I went to bed with the intention next morning I had something to do. Then the afternoon I was flying down to New York, and from New York I would fly out to Europe. The night I went to bed, I suddenly get hungry. I needed a cup of tea. I said, oh gosh, to go downstairs, you have to get this cup of tea because you weren't able to see. Going down the stairs, at the top of the stairs, I felt something under my feet. And with that, I lose my balance and I fell down the stairs. What happened is that I had used the vacuum cleaner upstairs with the intention that when I get up next morning, I would have fetched the vacuum cleaner downstairs to clean before I go up. And it's the car, the plug. The hard thing on the carpet, I touch it and I panic and I went down the stairs. Wonder, I was on that stairs about like 2 hours. I was hurt. The phone was upstairs. Eventually, when I crawled back upstairs, I didn't get the tea. But for 2 hours, I was on the stairs alone. I didn't have anyone I could have called. And I was in Atlanta. I was in America, right? I had a friend around the corner. If really and truly I could have walked to her. It so happened she wasn't in the country at that time. So when these things happen, is to tell you that wherever you are, there's no guarantee that you will have someone to be there for you, even if they're willing. So with that in mind, I see I could go anywhere, right? Because what's going to happen if I get sick or something happened to me? My father will make someone for some reason come and knock at the door. For some reason, someone would call me. If I'm in an Airbnb, somehow or the other, God will wake up that host to call my phone at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So if you move away from all of these things of what could go wrong and whether
Mhm.
you're safe and all of these things, and you just focus that if you're following God's plan, He will always. And I'm telling you, He's a crazy dude. He will show up and show. I said it, and He knows I'm going
Paula.
to. He is a crazy dude. He is because and he has a great sense of humor. He has a great sense of humor.
So is that where you get it from? You get it from your father?
Yep. One between me and you, since this is private, I'm his favorite.
No. See, here she
Yep.
go. I
Yes,
was waiting for it. It only took about 15 minutes. I was waiting for it.
yeah, I'm his favorite. But
Mm.
so we, especially us as women, for 18 years, I deal with women in a personal thing. Well, say for instance, with their finances. And I observe that we would look for any reason not to make a change. I'm telling you, someone said there might be a storm in 2026. You know who's not moving in 2022? Us. Because there might be a storm in 2026, 4 years down the road, right? And anytime God places it in your heart to do something, He needs you right now. He don't, it's now. And the minute, okay, the change might not be exactly now, but now is when you accept that my father is telling me. And now is when it sounds crazy, but you know what, Father, I trust in you to reveal this madness that you're telling me to do. You know, I'm not no chef. How you sending me to whatever it is? And we could have that conversation. When I can't be honest with you or I can't be honest with anybody else, I could be honest with my father because I'm just telling him what he already knows. But you know what? I'm letting him know that I trust him with my fear, I trust him with my desire, and I trust him to give me the answer that I. This is. Oh my
That's
goodness,
all. Secret
yes,
sauce explained.
yes, that is the secret sauce one. That is. That is. It is simple, but it is not easy. It is very, very simple, but it is not easy. Because it can be easy today, and then 3 a.m. in the morning, it is not easy. When you wake up and you suddenly feel scared. But that's it.
So
That's it.
talk to us a little bit about your background as well.
Okay. All right. I was born and raised in Georgetown, Guyana. I'm a Guyanese. I got a GT girl full out. And I was in my early 30s, doing well in my profession, on track. I know for certain at age 55, I was able to retire with one pension. And age 60, I would have gotten a second pension. I was certain about promotion because I was a public servant. So there's tear and after years of no one could come and get promoted above you and all the other stuff. No, that don't happen. But I knew I had to make a change. And I could remember last year I was back home and I was talking with my brother. And he's watching at me, and I know from his face, he could not believe that I was, at the time, I didn't know I was depressed, right? Because depression was a foreign word. It's something we never heard before. Back home again, now people know about depression. That time, no one knows about depression. And because I could not understand what I was feeling, I was not saying anything. Because I couldn't understand and I was equating what I was feeling with my life. No, you have a good job. You earn it. You have a good social life. I was in a great relationship at that time. So you equate your feelings with material things. and it wasn't adding up. So because of that, I internalized it. But I was so unhappy and I knew I had to make a change. Well, I said, okay, I'll come out on a vacation. Because then again, I always had a passport, I always had a valid passport, but I was not traveling, right? Around me, no one was. In my group, close friends and so forth, no one was traveling. So again, that's where this conference is good. Because when you get in a group or you get knowledge about persons doing other things that you're not accustomed to, that will help change your view. And I didn't have that. But I just felt to say, okay, you never went on a vacation. Perhaps if you go on a vacation, this will help with this craziness inside of you. At that time, the only country I could have come on vacation to is America because it's the only country. My brother was here. And at that time, I wasn't bold enough to go traveling around by myself. So I came to America. And I came to America, walked in, start babysitting. My plan was to be in America for 6 months. The person I was babysitting for, Sharon, said, I'm the 1st of December, she's the third of December. And the day she looked at me, she said, Paula, we're Sagittarians, we're not supposed to be babysitters. You need to go to school. I wonder, again, God knows at that time I was obsessed about school. By the time I finished one program or audit, we had training programs. By the time we finished one, I started looking for something else to do. At that time, I had loved school that when I'm out of school, I feel off balance. It was crazy thinking, but it was. And God knows there where I was. So here am I babysitting this Italian woman baby, Francis, in Long Island, and she's going to come to me in the morning and say, Paul, we Sagittarians, we're not babysitters. You need to be at school. And there it was. They're taking me to school. Well, it is a crazy. And that is what changed everything. It changed. And it was rocky. It was rocky to say the least. But would I exchange that crazy rocky experience to be back home in Guyana? No way. I love my country. I love what I do. But what another thing too, I would say materially, I haven't acquired more in America here than I would have acquired back in Guyana. I would have got a home, I would have changed in a car perhaps every 2 years because of being an auditor. I could have gotten a car duty free, all the perks coming with my position. But this relationship I have with God, I would have never got here. If I had stayed, I would not be able to speak the truth. I would not have been traveling around the world. I would have never done all the things that I've experienced if I had stayed where I was. So again, if you look at, I could remember one of you could say my workmate, we were all at the same level on the job. She was visiting America and she said, well, I can't understand why you stay. I couldn't even explain to her why I stayed. At that time, I couldn't because it was so early in the journey. She said, I just can't understand why you stay here. She just couldn't, right? And I couldn't explain to her. But now I look back, it is all part of God's plan. It was all part. And for everyone that will ever listen to this video, you will have changes. In some cases, it will be easy because everything, as I said, all hell breaking loose. And in some cases, it will be hard because you think you're giving up. But in order for you to go up, you have to give up. No one climbs Mount Everest with a whole 3-piece suitcase. No, it's a little half a sack. Because they cannot climb with too much of weight. They just go up there with their bare necessity. right? In preparation to experience something.
I love
This,
that. It's important to give up the things that weigh you down. Because if
yes,
you're weighed down, how are you supposed to go anywhere? And you're trying to
yes,
go somewhere, right? Like most
yes.
of us are.
Right?
Well, if you
So,
want to get access to the entire of Miss Paula's session, you got to come to the conference, girl. So head
yes,
to blackwomentravel.com. That's TRAVL.com/IBWTJ. Get your ticket for the online experience if you're
yes,
not able to attend in person.
yes.
And you'll get to hear all the ins and outs of her gorgeous journey of faith. And you'll be able to address your own fears and doubts. Can you
Yes.
remind me, please, the entire name of your session? If not
If
now.
not now, then when? If not now, then when?
There's
There
some
will never be
more.
a perfect time. So you have to make the change while you're scared, while you're frightened, all the insecurity that comes with change. You just have to move. Nike said just do it, and the really means just move. Do it. Start.
Thank you
Embrace.
so much. We
You are
appreciate
welcome.
we
You are
appreciate your
welcome.
expertise. We appreciate your testimony,
Yes.
and for pouring into us. If people wanted to connect with you in the internet streets, Miss Paula, where should they do that?
Okay, I have my YouTube channel, Thinking and Living Boldly. I have my website, thinkingandlivingboldly.com. You could always go to Facebook and at least attempt to join my group, Bold Movers of the Female Kind. Yes, I'm Paula Simon on Facebook. I'm not much on Instagram, have to work on my LinkedIn and all the other stuff. But I think there's enough street movements to find me,
Okay.
especially on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube.
Yes,
Um, so I will put links for the places you mentioned so folks can connect with you.
yes.
Thank you again. Very much
You are
appreciate
welcome. You
you.
are welcome. Yes, and looking forward for Tbilisi.
Yes, so you'll be here in person, so
Yes,
I actually get
I'm
to
looking
meet
forward to it.
you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, gonna have a very good time.
Yes,
I'm curious how that'll work out because you
yeah,
like to cut
we
up.
figure
You
it
like to
out.
cut up, so
No, I'm promised to dial back. At least
can
for
you
the
though?
first 20 minutes.
It's also been a pleasure, by the way, to have you in the Black Women Travel Mastermind. So you joined for the summer cohort,
Yes,
and
yes,
it's been really wonderful just kind of seeing the ins and outs.
yes,
What we do most in the mastermind, women are at different phases and stages of their online businesses, and what we tend to do most is to get into that icky, sticky part. And it's some of what you
yes,
were just talking about as well, which is how to move through those doubts and fears that are inevitably going to come up. And it doesn't
yeah,
just happen in your personal life, it happens in your business, the places where
yeah,
you block yourself from being able to grow and advance, places where
yeah,
you get in your head about this or that. And what the mastermind does is it just kind of opens that up. It opens you up to the possibilities of yourself to say, you're thinking about it this way, but maybe look at it this other kind of way. And it
yes,
helps you to get to your end goal, which is
yes,
to enjoy your life, one,
yeah,
but also to like create some money until you
yeah,
could just coast off of those savings that you inevitably have been
yeah,
creating for yourself as
yes,
you head into retirement years. So
yes, yes, yes.
it's been a pleasure to have you in the mastermind. She always brings the love and the light and the laugh. She brings the laugh for sure.
I I had I had a great time. Especially is to see how the women would share a concern or a situation and everybody get in with love and respect. And when after you share, you feel good. You know, sometimes you could be in a group and you share something, and when it over, you say, damn it, I should not have said anything.
Yeah,
Right?
you feel icky,
Yeah,
you feel
because
like you overshared, you feel
yes, yes, you
ignored,
gotta do.
vulnerable.
Yes. And the response is like little slights, little slights, little slights. You don't feel. But in this case, no. When you share, you feel afterwards that, okay, I'm so happy that I did share. It's a,
Yeah.
like a little cushion come, cotton wool, and support you. You feel good about it. So that was fantastic about it. And getting to see some of the ladies. Some, I must say, they know who they are. I like more than some of the ladies. I'm not, I'm not saying anything. They know who they are. But we had so much fun.
You've lodged
We
your
had so
complaints, all
much
those
fun.
anonymous complaints that weren't very anonymous. I've
Yes,
gotten them.
yes,
So,
yes, yes, yes. But I'm still waiting for some of them to be addressed. I don't know. I'll
well,
pick up on reaching.
graduation has happened for the summer. So, we'll think about winter. We'll think about it
Yes,
for the winter.
yes, yes, yes. You not have to leave it in
Time
the
to
sun.
consider.
So
But very much appreciate you.
you are
We
welcome.
we will be in Tbilisi October
Yes,
1st and 2nd this
yes.
year, 2022. If you would like to join us for the online experience, head to blackwomentravel.com/IBWTJ. Copy your ticket, sis. You won't regret it because you'll be a part of the crew.
Yes,
All right, Miss
yes.
Paula, and all of y'all watching, we will
Bye.
see you in the
Bye.
industry.
You take care.
Take very good care.
Bye.